Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 27 of the Showbound podcast presented by Axel Watches. I'm your host, Michael Raskin, once again joined by Ethan Cardwell. Cards, what's going on, man?
Not too much. I just realized last week was our half a year anniversary of the pod, I guess, eh?
Yeah,
Is
that's wild, dude.
once a week, 26. So that's crazy actually. Hasn't felt like that long, but we've been fortunate enough to have a bunch of great guests along the way. It made it a lot of fun. So we're looking to keep that rolling. But now I'm just hanging out, man. There's not much to do. I know we kind of say the same thing every week, but family just got a sauna though, so that's been pretty fun. Just going in there and stuff. Get a
Yeah,
little sweat out and a little workout in a sauna. Can't go wrong with that. How about you?
man, I've been just kind of gearing up for the school. I talked about it last week. I'm starting my MBA next week, and the professor emails me. He's like, for one of my courses, he's like, yeah, so due May 11th. The course opens May 6th. We have this quiz. You got to read these 4 chapters. I'm like, all right, sure. I look at the chapters. This is a 280-page reading right off the bat, bro. First week of the class, like welcome to the league, man. Just quick 280 pagers. So I've been grinding reading a lot the last few days. That's what's up with me. But
That's like equivalent to your first show game, just getting ran over by Ryan Reeves. I mean,
yeah.
that's a welcome to the league kid moment. Like, dude, there's no way. I don't know. Well, right now, anyway, I'm not in the state of mind to be able to tackle something like that. That's impressive. So, I mean, I guess we better hurry this podcast up so you can get back to the books.
Yeah, it's a tall task. We got a great episode today. We got former teammate of Cardsy, Damien Giroux. He's playing for the Iowa Wild in the AHL. He's a Minnesota Wild prospect and former captain of the Saginaw Spirit. Great guy. I'd never met him, but I can just tell like he was a super nice, good guy right off the bat. And I've actually heard a lot of good things from him, and he's been mentioned a few times on the podcast. So it's good to have him on, and I'm excited to get that interview out there. And we have a bit of stuff to talk about before we do get there. And one that I wanted to bring up, Cards, I told you I was going to tell this story. Just a funny memory came back to me from my short-lived junior hockey career. So I was playing for the South Muskoka Shield last year. Like that was the team I was playing on. And I played the home opener for my old team, the Niagara Whalers. And then I got the job in Barrie. So I was like, can you trade me somewhere closer to Barrie? Like I want to keep playing hockey, but I want to drive to Niagara for a game. So they're like, yeah. So they trade me there. And in Niagara, everyone got free sticks. That was like the thing. So I just figured naturally, like on every team you get free sticks. I didn't really know. And it was my second game out there in South Muskoka. And as I'm skating off for warm up, there's this like super cute little kid like fist bumping me on the way in the tunnel. And he's like, can I have your stick? And I'm like, yeah, of course. But my deal was like, I'm not playing I don't practice and I don't play every game because I was busy with Barrie. Like I was only playing on nights that Barrie wasn't playing. So I didn't get a stick deal or anything, which is fair because I wasn't playing too many games. So I didn't want to give him my own sticks since I had to pay for my sticks. So I'm just like, yeah, everyone gets free sticks on team. So I just grab a stick off the rack. And it was the guy who got bumped out of the lineup for me who came in. So I grabbed the stick and gave it to this kid. He's all fired up, whatever. I didn't think anything of it. And after the game, this scratch kid comes in. He's a Euro, screaming at me for giving away his stick. And I'm like, who cares? Like, you get a million free sticks. You're an import guy. He's like, no, like, I had to pay $50 for that stick, like all this stuff. Freaking out. This guy goes to track down the kid in the parking lot after the game, Cards, to try to find the stick. I'm like stopping him, like, and he hated me, this guy, for taking a spot in the lineup when I wouldn't even like practice. Anyway, I had to buy him a new stick. I had to buy the kid a stick. So
That's a tough balance, man. Actually, that's jokes. I mean, you wouldn't think anything of it though. Like, why not? And actually, this kind of reminds me too. I was in Sweden, and I always like normally I have 3 sticks on the bench. Like I'll have the one I'm using and 2 backups there in case like one feels faulty or one gets weak or I don't like it or something. Or sometimes I get superstition and I'm like, you know what, like this one isn't working, I'm gonna switch. And they normally have like different tape jobs or something. So I go, it's like the end of the game or something. No, it might have been in between periods. And there was this little kid like hanging out behind the thing, and there wasn't a lot of people because of COVID in the rink. And then I see all of a sudden after like mid game, I see some kid walking around the crowd with my stick in his hands. I'm like, I look up, I'm like, that's my stick. And then I look at the tape job. I go, no, that's definitely my stick. Why does this kid have my stick? And sure enough, like apparently like, I guess he just went down, grabbed my stick and stole it. But I'm like, whatever, like, he's happy. He's got a new stick because we're fortunate enough to get them. But like, I'm like, why is this kid running around with my twig right now? I'm supposed to be using that. And here he is in the crowd playing road hockey with it.
That's funny. And that takes away the fun of giving the kid the stick too. He probably didn't even know it was yours. He just took
no, well, no, he definitely did, because all the guys on the team, they would get all free Bauer sticks, but their names wouldn't be on them, some of them. But my names are all on my sticks. So it said Cardwell. So he's probably like, oh, North American, I'll take that stick, and just gets out of there with it. I was laughing. That was pretty funny afterwards.
That is funny. The guy just steals your stick off the bench.
Yeah.
That's a good one. We got a bit of OHL news. So I guess it's not affiliated with the OHL, but some OHL type news where it's come out that a group of OHL players are going to be running their own showcase tournament for the guys who didn't get to play and get a chance to show themselves to scouts down in Erie, Pennsylvania. So I don't know too much of the details. Cards, has anyone reached out to you or anything you can share with us?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to a bunch of guys about it, and they've been asking what my plans are and just kind of informing me on the tournament and stuff. And it's going to be a 13-day tournament, and they'll be there staying in a hotel in Erie, playing games, trying to make it as official as they can. They'll have a CCM vendor there, I believe, to get equipment. Unfortunately, the players will have to pay a little bit though, because it's not affiliated with the CHL, so they can't be just doling out free twigs and gear and stuff. But no, it sounds like a great idea, a great initiative by the guys to go ahead and do this for the players who haven't played. And I really just hope they can figure it out for the Canadian guys. I mean, they will have to soak a 14-day quarantine when they come home regardless. Like, that's just the way it is with COVID and everything. But no, it looks like a great thing, and it sounds like a great idea. So from me, like, I hope it goes well, and I hope they can pull it off.
Yeah, I was going to say, are a lot of the Canadian guys discouraged from going there just because they have to quarantine on the way back?
I don't know, man. Like, I haven't talked to a ton of guys, but I know a few guys that are going, and they've said like, yeah, like, we're just like in. But I mean, it'll cost a little bit of money to go down and everything. But yeah, the 14-day is definitely going to be a tough one on the way home.
I know there is a donation link. I'm just going to pull it up for the people who do want to donate, because I actually think this is an amazing project, an amazing idea. So for the people who would like to donate, there is going to be a website coming. Actually, it's not up yet, so I guess keep an eye. We'll give it a repost and a retweet on our social media. So just keep an eye. Good place to donate and support it. So yeah, excited to see how that goes. Hopefully there's no issues. I mean, I'm excited for that opportunity, but we can send it over the interview. But before we do, I just want to ask you, Cardsy, you got Bush?
Right now, no, I don't.
Okay, well, you definitely do.
Thanks to Manscaped.
You definitely do if you haven't tried the best products from our sponsor, Manscaped. After using these life-changing products, you're going to want to join a ballsack beauty contest. I'm looking out for you too, because I also have an exclusive 20% off discount code, and that's Showbound, and you can use it at manscaped.com. Manscaped is dedicated to help you level up your full body grooming game with their Perfect Package 3.0 kit. The Perfect Package 3.0 kit comes with the Essential Lawnmower 3.0 waterproof cordless body trimmer and a ton of other liquid formulations to round out your grooming routine. This is the best trimmer to help you trim up the hedges. This trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to advanced skin-safe technology pioneered by Manscaped. When you trim the hedges, the tree stands taller. Inside the Perfect Package, you'll also find the Manscaped Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant, making sure your balls are smelling majestic before your Tinder date. You'll also find the Crop Reviver Ball Toner, a spray-on testy toner that's designed to make your balls smell irresistible. Be sure to add the refined cologne to your arsenal. And with a Perfect Package or Performance Package purchase, you get 2 free gifts: the Shed Travel Bag, $39 value, and the patented high-performance reduced chafing Manscaped Boxers. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code SHOWBOUND at manscaped.com. Do yourself a favor and always use the right tools for your bush trimming experience. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code SHOWBOUND at manscaped.com. It's 2021 and you still got bush. Change that with Manscaped.
What a read that was. That was
Cards. Funny enough, actually, one of my buddies was saying he used the Showbound code at Manscaped. He did get the Perfect Package kit, which we also got, and he was saying he used the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and the spray one, and he was going on about how he was like, I never knew dry balls was a thing until I tried this, and now I can't go back. So that was funny. I mean, if anyone has dry balls, you might not even know. So check out Manscaped. Use the code Showbound. And I guess with that being said, we can send it over to Damien Giroux.
All right, and welcome to the pod, G. Super happy to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, so for the listeners who don't know, G's in the American Hockey League right now with the Iowa Wild, and having a great season as a rookie. And as we talked about in our last few episodes with Ryan O'Rourke a few weeks ago there, he's an absolute animal. He likes to dig deep out there. He's willing to do anything it takes to win. So tell us a little bit about how the year's going in right now. I know we're going to get into it more in depth later, but just a quick overview.
It's been a much different season, I guess, with all the COVID protocols, obviously, but it's just been great to be able to kind of, play hockey again and kind of get back into that normal routine. And been really enjoying it out here so far. And here we only have five or so games left. So, it's been a great season thus far.
Yeah. And we were talking to Rourke a bit about it too. And you guys have some fans in the building, and COVID's kind of a little bit like taken less seriously, I guess you could say, but a lot of more vaccines and whatnot going around there. So you guys actually had your little rookie party last night. So how was that for you?
No, it was fun. Yeah, we didn't really do much. We just kind of got all together, all the guys didn't really do much. Just had a couple of drinks. It was fun to kind of just hang out.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, I mean, sounds like you guys are doing well, and you're obviously putting up numbers, and you've been on fire kind of as of late. You kind of took off throughout the season. So it's been all good there. I mean, Rask, you want to kind of send it over to minor hockey here now?
Yeah, we'll kind of come back and catch back up with the AHL as we go, but we'll walk the listeners through your career a bit. And I just want to bring it back to minor hockey. You grew up in Sudbury, and just a question I had, a lot of these northern guys that we've had on the podcast, and some that we haven't, but you just hear, they move to the GTA. They want to play in the GTHL, that minor midget season, stuff like that. Obviously you stayed in Sudbury, but was that ever a thought that crossed your mind, maybe to get some more exposure?
Oh, for sure. Especially, that leading up to my minor midget year, we didn't really have a league to be able to play in my draft year to go into the OHL. So it was kind of tough. My parents always kind of brought it up, maybe wanting to move down there to get more exposure, like you said. But we were fortunate enough to be able to kind of amalgamate a minor midget team into that major midget division, the GNML up here. So it was pretty fortunate to be able to stick around. If I were to go back and do it again, I don't think I'd change a thing. I really enjoyed staying at home. I'm pretty close to my friends and family. So just that time at home, I really appreciated it, I guess.
Yeah. And how'd you find that minor midget season before we get into the OHL draft?
It was tough, actually, just because I grew up playing for the Nickel City Suns. And then I guess another team up north was the Sudbury Wolves. And we ended up amalgamating that minor midget year. So it was kind of tough playing, with players that you grew up playing against. But it was a lot of fun. We got to, you get to meet new people. So we all pretty much enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
And then you end up being drafted by Saginaw in the third round of the OHL draft. So, I mean, as a Northern Ontario guy, like, you get drafted to an American team. What was that kind of thought process after that? Were you excited? Were you confused? Like, you didn't know what to expect, but how'd that go for you?
Yeah, actually, Saginaw was one of the last teams I expected to kind of draft me, to be honest with you. It was kind of like in the back portion of my thoughts. And I was really hoping that, Sudbury, or a team kind of from the Northern Ontario, were gonna draft me. So I was kind of not necessarily disappointed when I saw my name go up, but I was, kind of, it wasn't what I expected, I guess you could say. So, but going to Saginaw, meeting Drinkle, Laz, all the coaching staff, management over there, the ownership, they're second to none out there. So it was a treat to be able to play in that organization, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
And I mean, so Rask, like, I don't know if you know, like, you probably do. I mean, you were around the OHL for a while and stuff too, though. Like, Saginaw was not very good, like, and they were like bottom of the league, like terrible, kind of like the organization kind of got spat on a little bit by the rest of like the league and stuff. And I mean, when G's group was kind of like the group that kind of turned it around there, and like you were obviously a big part of it, G. So kind of, what was your first season like? I know you guys were still not very good at all. So what was that year like for you?
I thought we had a pretty good team on paper, to be honest with you. We got a lot of older guys like Mike Davies, Jesse Barwell, Chris Bennett, Hayden Hodgson, Keaton Middleton, who's actually played a couple games in the show already this year. So we got a really good team on paper. Evan Cormier in that too. So but especially at that time in 2016, the West was just absolutely stacked. So we didn't have a hot start, I guess, and we just kind of got spat on for most of that season by some pretty good teams like London. I guess Windsor even ended up winning the Memorial Cup that year. So it was tough, but the next couple of years, I guess the organization did a great job of just turning it around, and we were able to kind of build some better teams, and we actually were able to make a run at it. So it was a big swing, big turnaround, I guess.
Yeah, and for you in that first year, what was your adjustment period like stepping into the OHL, playing against bigger guys?
Yeah, well, like you said, like you were saying, I guess at the next level, everyone's bigger, stronger, faster, right? So it's kind of tough. It's an adjustment at first, but we had great, had some pretty good teammates, good coaching staff to kind of help me along the way. Guys like Keaton Middleton, Chris Bennett, who was just an absolute animal in the gym and on the ice. So I was kind of able to model kind of my game after him and kind of learn from him as much as possible. And it helped a lot.
Yeah, and the last thing here about your first year, how long did it take you to get your first tuck?
Wasn't as quick as you. I think it took me 8 games or so.
That's not too bad though.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I got lucky, just a quick shot and found the net somehow. I mean,
yeah, quick Shelly too. You know where you're going to.
Yeah, fired the boys up a bit.
Sure. Yeah.
Cards, how many games in was your first O goal? I've seen the video.
My second period.
No way.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah. His 8th shift in, not a big deal.
Yeah.
That was actually a dirty first goal too, but
yeah, it was bad.
I want to get into kind of your second year, your draft year, and 43 points in 68 games, and you got an A on your jersey as a second year guy. So, like, did you do anything different that offseason heading in to kind of prepare for your draft year?
Yeah, I was really fortunate because we have a pretty good group back home in Sudbury, a summer that run summer skates. So we have like a group. I'm able to skate with Nick Foligno, Marcus Foligno, Tyler Bertuzzi. For a while there, Zach Stortini, who now coaches the Wolves, were skating as well. Derek McKenzie. So all those older guys, I was able to kind of skate with them as much as possible, train with them off the ice as well. So it kind of was able to kind of learn from them, and I think it kind of just prepared me a little more for that second year for sure.
So as a guy who's not really like gonna be a top pick, did you find yourself often checking the rankings, like getting all worked up about that sort of stuff throughout the draft year?
To be honest with you, I didn't even look at it much. I just kind of was in the back of my mind. I was just there to kind of play hockey and kind of do my job, have fun with it, enjoy the process, and whatever happened at the end of the day happened, I guess. So that was kind of my mentality. I was gonna work as hard as I can and kind of let the cards fall where they did.
Yeah, and then obviously draft day ended up going your way that year, and it was in Dallas, but I don't think you went, did you?
No, not at all. I stayed. I wasn't too sure if I was going to get drafted or not, so I just kind of stayed home and didn't even watch the draft. I just kind of went golfing with my couple of cousins and just spent the day kind of with them, not really thinking about the draft too much.
Okay, so you end up going 5th round to the Minnesota Wild, and then what happens there? Where were you? How'd you find out, and what was that moment like?
Yeah, so I'd just gone back to my aunt's place. Who's like, I'm super close to my family, so we're kind of all just watching. They were all watching the draft over at my aunts and uncles down the street, and we were just going back from the course. So I'm kind of just walking to the garage. They're watching the draft. They turn it off because they know I didn't really want to watch it. Put too much pressure on myself, but I ended up getting a phone call. I didn't really recognize the number, and it turned out to be, I don't know if you know who Andrew Burnett is, but I think he was part of the Minnesota organization at the time, and he actually lives down the street from me in the summer. He's from Hanmer, like my little small town. I grew up going to hockey school every single summer. Like I almost like idolized him, small town, hero basically. And so he ends up calling me, and he's the one who tells me, hey, we just drafted you in the 5th round. Like, congrats, enjoy the day. And just to be able to get that phone call from him just, kind of made that moment a lot more special.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. And I mean, that's kind of like the first person we've had, Ras, that's kind of just been like, yeah, no, like I didn't watch the draft, didn't pay attention to it or anything. And, obviously it turned out well. And now being in the system, everything's gone great. So you going into your first dev camp, what was that experience like after the draft? Just kind of getting in there and just being like, wow, like this is legit. I'm here now.
Yeah, it was unreal. It's your dream to be able to, put on an NHL jersey one day. So to be able to kind of just step into that locker room and put on that practice jersey for the first time, it's kind of just a surreal feeling, and you kind of just take a moment to appreciate it. So I think that for me, just taking a minute to see where you're at and to see where all that hard work's kind of paid off, it's pretty cool to see. So.
That's unreal. And then I think you went to your second dev camp. Weren't you most improved like player from first to second dev camp?
Yeah, so I wasn't really able to participate like much on that first development camp just because I had an injury. So during that second camp, I got to kind of participate more, and uh, I guess I ended up earning that most improved, I guess, or something like that.
Yeah, I remember seeing that the boys were all fired up for you and stuff.
Yeah,
But
Don't they give the most improved to the worst player?
yeah, I'll take it. That means I'm not the worst player anymore, I guess.
yeah, hey, worst player getting contracts. So I mean, Rask, once you got the money, then we'll talk about it.
No, for real, I can't be chirping, but I wanna kind of move it over to the year after that. Like you head up into your third year in Saginaw, and that was the big year where you guys went on the deep run, like you said, and just big bulk up at the deadline. And just because Cards alluded to it at the beginning, Saginaw from when you came in was kind of like more the lower end teams, I guess, in terms of fans, skill wise, and then that's the year that really turned it around from nothing to jam packed arenas. Everyone's talking about Sag. Like, what was that season overall like for you as you kind of went about it?
Yeah, it was. I think so. To start that third season, we didn't have the best record. I think like we had a pretty good team again on paper, but I think we were kind of underneath. We were below 500 at the start of the season. So on Tuesday night games, Wednesday night games against Flint, there's just absolutely no one at the Dow Rent Center. Like Cardsy, you can.
Yeah.
It's dead in there. It's like playing. It's honestly it might be more dead than playing in like a COVID arena at this point. But by the end of like the year, like as soon as like we started generating more wins, and you could see the energy turn, and like as soon as we clinch a playoff spot, I guess we haven't really won even a playoff series at that point. So we hadn't done that in a while. So to see the fans kind of get super excited and rally behind us it was a lot of fun. I think they even had a couple like they were having like beers and stuff in the parking lot at some point. Like I think before games, like the fans were getting together, like having cookouts and stuff in the parking lot before games.
Yeah, they'd have tailgates too, and like Rask, like to go along with this in Sag, they would sell like $2 beers and like $1 hot dogs. So these fans would just be crushing these $2 beers and getting rowdy in the crowd.
Yeah,
Like,
that's sick, man. I wish like they would do stuff like that over in the Canadian teams. Gee, you were named captain that season. So can you talk about like how that went down and the kind of the honor you had wearing the C?
No, yeah, it was a huge honor, and especially because we had so many good leaders on that team at that point. Like guys like Brady Gilmore that had been there for 4 years. Like it was a huge honor, and just to kind of to be able to for my to see the coaches and like leadership group just have that faith in me. It was a big honor, and it was a lot of fun. I think we had a good run, and to be able to come back that fourth year and kind of lead that group as well, it was a lot of fun.
yeah, and actually, I got a funny story kind of. So in my draft year, G was in his second year in the O, so my OHL draft year, and I had a meeting with Drinks, and I remember him telling me he was always talking about G. He's like, this is the guy, like our whole franchise, like I want everyone to be like G, works hard, great kid, like. And he mentioned he was like, yeah, he's gonna be the captain of the team as soon as Middleton's gone. So I'm like, okay, like sweet. So then that year, sure enough, Midzi was like made the A that year out of camp, which was unbelievable for him as a free agent. So then there was like a big announcement day where it's like, who's going to be the captain? And everyone was like wondering when Midzi had left. And I'm like, no, like it's G for sure. They had already, they've had this set up for like 3 years now. So
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
yeah. And Laz and Drinks obviously had a lot of faith in you, and it was a good pick. But at the time, it was actually Smitty who named you captain, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah, because he was there for that first half of the year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Smitty for like the first 20 games. And that actually, speaking of Smitty, I was talking to Danny today, and we were kind of just talking about some stories maybe to bring up and stuff. And he was asking about the time when Smitty called you out and said you couldn't win a face-off to save your life, and you were up way over 50%.
Yeah. So it was to start the period, like to start the game off. And he wanted to set like a set play where like both wingers like go to their blue lines, like yell out for a pass, and like somehow like I find the lane for a breakaway. And like I win the first draw, just missed the pass, like goes for an icing.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, but like I guess it shouldn't have been icing, so the draw came back to center ice. Lose that one. And then but I guess like there's another face off center ice. Something happened. Anyways, third draw. I win that one clean. We just don't run the play. Period's over. We're up 2-0. For some reason, he's mad. I don't know what we did, but he comes into the dressing room, starts ripping everybody like around the room. So he says something to Kosk, like Jenkins had something. Like, anyways, comes up to me and he's like, "What about you? Like, can't win a draw. Like, can't run a play." And he just like absolutely like tore me to pieces. And I just didn't know what to say, I guess, at that moment. But
You're just sitting there like, what just happened?
So I just kind of ate it, and yeah, that was the end of that. And then on the way out was might have been the funniest part for me. But were you in the room for that?
Yeah, but you just went around ripping on every single guy in the locker room.
Yeah. You're winning though. What's the issue?
No, it was so funny, bro. Like, that was classic. And then, but like moving on kind of with that year, because we went on such a deep run. And like, I remember like all the guys that I've had on the pod that were there that year in SAG just talked about like how tight of a group we had. And like, that was definitely true. And that's why we were so good. But for you, do you want to just talk about the run a little bit and how much it meant to you and just how cool it was to see all like the atmosphere and for yourself anyway, playing so good?
No, yeah, I think just to be able to see like that, like the process, I guess, from like being there from like, you know, my first day to having almost like absolutely no fans in the crowd to, you know, selling out arenas for that game 2, like that. I've never seen the Dow, you know, that way, like that packed before. So it was, to be able to be there for that and see like the transition of like hockey kind of evolved in Saginaw is pretty special to see. And yeah, just, I don't know. I've never even like really played a playoff series either. So going into that, you know, that third year, sorry, just we ended up getting swept by the Sioux the year before. So I didn't really have much experience. And, but to be able to bring in guys like Tippett and McLeod and Murray, who, you know, have been through it all, before, really helped us out. So
yeah, it was sick. And like, I don't know, it was just a nasty year overall. And you were obviously a big part of it. Cause I remember when we lost in game 7, and this was a weird one too, cause the game 7, it was on like a Tuesday night or something, but the Dow was still buzzing. And what were we were down 3-1 G. They scored an empty netter or something.
Yeah, they had just tucked an empty netter. We were down 3-1
with like a minute to go. So like everyone's funneling out, and I'm a healthy scratch, so I'm in the press box, and everyone's kind of like leaving the arena, and G ends up scoring, and then there's like 30 seconds left on the clock, and like everyone I could see like it was actually crazy because like, everyone rushed out of the building, and then you just see everyone sprinting back into their seats for the last 30 seconds of the game. And obviously, as everyone knows, it didn't go our way, but still pretty cool that G made it interesting a bit for the last 30, I guess.
What was I feel like I brought this up a few times, but that whole incident, I guess, with Ivan, for the fans, Ivan Prosvetov, we talked about it when he shot the puck out of the glass, got suspended. What was like your point of view on that? Like what was going through your head after that goes down and you hear there's a suspension coming?
So I was on the ice for this, I'm pretty sure. Like me and Buzzy were up the ice, like forechecking, and like they ended up kind of like clearing the puck down, and I don't know, the whistle goes off. I'm not sure why. And then all I hear is like the crowd go nuts. Like, no idea what's going on. And I just see Ivan losing his mind in the corner, arguing against the ref. Like yelling in Russian. I'm not too sure what he was saying, but yeah. And then I get back to the bench, and next thing you know, he got 5 minutes up on the board. killing a 5-on-3. Like, it was a tough circumstance. And then to find out that he had the 5-game suspension on top of that, that was, I think, a pretty big dagger to the heart there for us.
No, that was just a crazy situation. But I want to kind of keep it moving towards your last year in the O, and then we'll kind of talk about what's going on now with you. But that was a year you kind of really broke out offensively. You had 75 points in 61 games and proved yourself as like a dominant offensive force in the O. So how did you find that season? Was it just like a more ice time, more confidence, older guy type of thing? Is that what changed for you?
Yeah, I think just kind of confidence is huge. I think, especially early on. I think especially being able to come to NHL camps and kind of be able to play in that Traverse City tournament before the season too kind of preps you for that season. So yeah, I just felt kind of a lot more comfortable, I guess you could say, on the ice. And it wasn't just me. I mean, I played with some pretty great players along the way. Like I think I was able to play on the line with Koski, Perfetti, like Buzz Decker, Jenkins. Like yeah, it's so Cardsy, of course. For the longest time it was you, me, and Fats, eh?
Yeah, we were firing for a bit, and then I got demoted, so it was tough go for me. But I lived it up while I could.
Yeah, no, but yeah, like we just had so much depth up front that it didn't really matter who you played with. So we just fortunate to be able to be on a pretty good team.
Rask, quickly, yeah. I just want to add to the G was off to like a ridiculous start at the start of the season. He had like a stupid amount of goals. Like he was over a goal per game for like the first 10 games, I think. But a funny story about this one was we're in the Sioux, and G's like the most non-cocky guy of all time. And he scores a goal, and I think it hit off somebody's skate or something. It was like
it went off Rourke. Yeah.
You went off Rourke?
It went off like someone's skate, off Rourke's skate, and then off his stick, and it was like the cheapest goal I've ever seen.
And G goes to the huddle, Rask, and this is like the 8th game of the season, and like I said, G's not cocky at all, like so humble. He goes into the huddle, he goes, well, I guess that's 10. So, he's talking about 10 on the year, so just such a cocky move.
Cat, we're playing Sewer before that game, and Caddick was just like giving me a hard time. Like, I guess like I need to be more cocky about myself, have some more swagger. So I just kind of threw that in his direction, and he just kind of blew it up way out of proportion. But I didn't think I said it that.
That's hilarious. No, that sounds like an absolute goal scorer's goal right there. If I've ever heard of one.
He was getting lit up too after, because as soon as
I think I jinxed myself by saying that too, because I think that's where I cooled off after that.
Yeah, a little bit, but not too much. You still had like 40 goals or something, so I mean, not too bad at all.
Yeah, so I mean, big offensive season, and you earned yourself a contract with Minnesota after that. So, did you reward yourself, make any big purchase to kind of treat yourself for that?
To be honest with you, I haven't done anything. I haven't bought anything. Just been kind of saving it up. I guess with the extended off season, kind of just had to pay off. My trainers pay for a lot more. Ice time was a lot more expensive with COVID and everything. So just kind of been spending my money on that, I guess.
So the reason I ask is our partners at Gavin Hockey Wealth Specialists believe that your goals matter. After hundreds of early morning practices and countless hours on the ice or in the gym, you truly earned your success and you deserve to enjoy it. For over 20 years, the team at Gavin has assisted professional hockey players with setting goals and, more importantly, providing them with a game plan to achieve them. Whether it's a house, a car, a cottage, or even supporting your family, it's all within reach when you partner with a pro. And you can check them out at gavingroup.ca.
Yeah, and as we kind of talked about earlier in the episode, G's in Iowa now, and playing really well, like we said. So, G, what was the adjustment period like for you to kind of jump into pro hockey and now kind of be able to be an impact player there?
Yeah, it was tough at first, but the thing is like the practices here too are so intense that it feels kind of game like, in practice. So you that impact helped a lot kind of transition into games. And I think the biggest difference for me, I guess, compared to the OHL would be that you have to make your decisions a lot quicker. Like you just got to know what you want to do with the puck, I guess, before you even get it. And that's, I think that for me was the biggest, I'm still adjusting, you know what I mean? Like you can always improve, always learn. So I think for me, that's the biggest thing to work on.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, practices are pretty intense there. As we know, last week you ran yourself into a post. So how was that?
Yeah, a couple stitches, but it's all good. Bounced right off.
Yeah, nothing that can't hurt you too much. I mean, you got for the YouTube listeners and anyone who sees a clip today, G's rocking. He's missing his front tooth too. So just a warrior overall.
Yeah, that was a
So
high from Lenny too.
yeah. How you doing though with living on your own? Like, I mean, I know you're pretty self-sufficient and stuff. So how's your cooking and all of that going for yourself?
I to be honest with you, so I got a roommate right now, Derek Barabo. He's one of our goalies here in Iowa, and to be honest with you, I thought I was a pretty good cook until I met him. I guess his parents own a bar and a restaurant, so he's been doing all the cooking for me, and I'm just kind of a housewife, I guess, around the house and do all the dishes and clean up after him. So it's
That's a good setup.
Yeah,
he's
can't
doing
complain
well.
too much about the free food, AG.
Yeah, exactly.
You got any funny stories from your first year here, on or off the ice that you want to share?
I heard it's a goon fest in Iowa. Like Rocky was saying, 2 fights a game.
Yeah, a couple. Actually, yeah, there's quite a few fights a game. We got some guys that like to chuck them though. We got guys like Cody McLeod, who aren't afraid to drop the gloves at all. So it's I think one of the funniest stories. I think Rocky even said it already on the pod, but it was when Cramarosa, the first game of the year, when he scored like on a breakaway, and then the next shift, like or on his way like to celebrate, it kind of like seemed like he challenged the bench. I'm not sure if he did or not, but like the very next shift just drops the gloves and like absolutely hypes up a crowd of like 4,000 people. Like it was nuts. I've never seen like a shift like that before in my career. It's unreal.
That's unreal. That's big time jam. And I mean, you're a pretty tough kid. So I mean, you're probably doing pretty well there. But and you got your brother there. I wanted to quickly mention your brother and the time that he ran your show. So
Yeah, you're gonna bring that up.
yeah, I had to throw you under the bus a little bit. So Rask, his brother. What's your brother? How tall?
Yeah, I want to say five, like I don't know, 5'5", 5'6".
Yeah, his brother, and he's playing in the OHL, and he's a great player too. So, and he's a truck. So first time, I think it was the first time you guys faced off. He just took G out.
Absolute bulldog. Okay, he didn't take me out. It was like sneaky play. You know when like you cross check down on like the back of someone's pants and like you just absolutely like lose an edge or something like that. Well, it's like our first shift up against each other, and of course that's what he does in the corner because he can't handle me. Just not as strong, not as big, little brother. So I really hope he's listening to this right now. But no, he takes me down, and then of course Natalie Shaver takes like the perfect picture that just looks like he's absolutely crushing me in the corner. So he had to put it up on Instagram and Snapchat and everything that night, and it blew up back in Sudbury. So
dude, he put it all over, and I remember Rask, and you never see guys like on their own team like cheer when their teammate gets hit. G goes down there, and our whole bench is like giving stick taps for him. It's hilarious.
Our head coach Laz actually gave me shit when I got back to the bench. He's like, you're gonna let that happen? Like seriously?
Yeah. Gotta stand up for yourself. Can't let him run your show.
That's hilarious, man. Oh, little family battles. I'm gonna need to see that picture. Maybe we toss that one up. That's funny.
Yeah, it's a good pick.
We can move it into some fan questions here, unless you got anything more on this cards.
No, I mean, let her fly.
Yeah. So first one, everyone wants to know what stick you use and what specs.
All right. Yeah. So I use the FT3 with an 80 flex P28 curve. And I think that's pretty much it. But I cut it down pretty short though. So I want to say I cut it down to almost an 85, 90 flex.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then someone asked, what's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Oh, got a mint chip.
Oh, okay. That's a solid pick.
Yeah. You don't approve, Cardsy?
I approve.
Oh, okay.
What's yours, Cards?
I'm a cookie dough guy, but I wouldn't go wrong with like a 2 scooper, maybe like a mint chip on top with a cookie dough underneath, and then get
that's a gross combo. Like not good. I don't know about that.
Funny, they don't even mix. Honestly, you just take the one and then the other one, and
yeah. Fair enough. Actually, I have a question that came to mind for both of you guys. Do you like your ice cream in a cone or in like a cup, like when you get the bowl?
I'm a
Bowl.
cone guy. You're a bowl guy, G?
Definitely in the cup for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same. The cone's too messy. That's my thing.
I don't like it gets soggy too, but
Yeah, and then it's leaking on your hands if you're walking in the sun or something.
You gotta be precise with your timing and be elegant when you're using a cone.
Yeah, you're as elegant as it gets, Cards.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, G, you got any game day superstitions or rituals?
Not I guess a couple. Yeah, I guess I just like to get to the rink super early. I just kind of like taping my stick in the same spot every time. It's not really like a superstition or anything. It's just something I'll do before every game.
Yeah.
I do have to put my left piece of equipment on first though.
Okay.
So I guess the biggest thing. Tie my first left skate first, left knee pad, left shoulder pad, or left elbow pad.
Yeah.
Don't
That's
ask
a
me why.
common one. I don't know why though, but a lot of people do that.
I go all left too before
Is
anything.
there a reason or just for fun?
I think it's
just-
just habit.
Okay.
I can't do it any other way.
Mm-hmm. Yo, and G also like ruins his shin pads before the game. He's smacking his shin pads as hard as he can in the locker room. I'm like, G, you're gonna break your shin pad, man.
We're just making sure they work.
Yeah.
Screw him in.
Yeah.
I don't know what this answer is gonna be, but someone wants you to explain what your full nickname is.
That's got to be Lenny, Millsy, or that's got to be Caddick who wants that.
Yeah, I think it was Caddick.
To be honest with you, I don't even know how this started or how many. Like Cardsy started it all, so you might as well explain it.
I don't know if I started at all, but I was definitely in the mix for a lot of it. So G is like infamous because he has so many nicknames, and
I don't even know why.
we always piece them together and stuff, Rask. So let's just go through the list here. I mean, we got G.
Remember, one of them was Damien. We talked about that one.
Yeah. So we got G. So Damien, the French spell, like the French way of saying it. So then we got Rooster for Girouster, the Saint Laurent doll, the regular doll. I feel like I'm missing some too for some reason, but
You're definitely missing a couple. I don't know. Dan, if you were to ask Danny though, he'd give you the whole list.
yeah, he could give you every single nickname, but it was so funny. And
you knew it got under my skin too. That's why you did it all the time.
once you freaked out the one time, and all the boys were like, "Okay, we got to keep bugging G about his nicknames."
Yeah.
So then Gator and Danny started singing songs like I didn't even remember what songs, but it was so funny, and it would just rile you up on the bus.
Those three together, Kinger, Gator, and Caddick were just
Who's Gator for the listeners?
Jacob Goldowski.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's classic.
Unreal guy.
I remember the one time we were I don't think it was about the nicknames or anything, but G and Lenny had a little feud going on. And so Lenny, being like a younger guy on the squad, was like at the front of the bus, like with us, like not the front, but like we had the 03s and the 02s, and we were all like in an area, and Lenny and G were like battling. So then G had like the 99s and the 2000s at the back, and then there was like the 01s in the middle with like they didn't know which side to go to. So then we ended up having an all-out brawl on the bus. You remember that, G?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had more fun than that group of guys. Like the stories from the bus, man. Like the bus trips were the most fun.
It was wild because it was so funny. We'd like be planning attacks to go back and attack the older guys on the bus.
Like, it was almost like capture the flag with each other's phones too, in the sense like, it was like turf wars. Like guys were like trying to like steal each other's like chargers and stuff. I've never seen anything like that before. It was nice.
Yeah, no, it was a good group, and it was all fun and games too. We were all so tight.
Oh yeah,
it does sound good.
It didn't matter either how like if you say that you had like something going on with someone, like the one day you guys didn't like each other, you were butting heads. Like the next day you guys were best friends again. It didn't matter. That's how close we were, and I can't tell you how many fights we'd have in those mini stick tournaments. And then Oh yeah, and then the next day would just, everyone was fine. Just go back to being.
Yeah, that's what you need in a good group, and that's probably why you guys went on such a good run. And I don't know what this is gonna be. What's Chalet 18 at the Quebec Pee Wee tournament?
Oh God, oh God. All right, so I've never been a Chalet 18 personally, but it was when we were in minor hockey, went to that Pee Wee tournament in Quebec City. Best tournament I've ever been to growing up. It was so much fun, but we ended up getting billeted by a bunch of families out in Quebec, and all the parents stayed at Mount St. Town in a chalet, and they named it, I guess, it was Chalet 18, and it was just an absolute, I guess, booze fest for the parents.
Oh yeah.
So the kids would get dropped off, I guess, at like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. by the billets that had to go to work. And like the parents were still up drinking and having a time. So like, I guess all the guys like would go to Chalet 18 during the day and they just could do whatever they wanted because the parents were always inland. So yeah, it's just been kind of like the ongoing joke for everyone on that team growing up where, one day we'll have to get back to Chalet 18.
Now that you're old enough, you'll have to go back.
Yeah, exactly.
We got a couple more fan questions. So a couple people want to know, who's your celebrity crush?
Celebrity crush. I mean, from like growing up, like, I don't know, I guess watching like Disney Channel and stuff, I have to say Selena Gomez. Just
Okay,
like,
same.
Wiggly place, can't go wrong. Yeah.
Real. You don't have one now, right? Maybe like Sidney Crosby, I bet. Actually, one that Cardsy and I had to answer a couple weeks ago. Do you have a most embarrassing moment on the ice?
Yeah, my family still makes fun of me to this day, but so my first ever OHL, like it was like a preseason game, and I was supposed to, like, we set up whatever, like we're about to play, we have team meetings. I didn't know about team meetings at the time, so I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know you watched video before games. I'm coming straight from minor hockey. I missed the meetings, and then I get back in the room, and like Mitchell Stevens pulls me to the side and he's like, yeah, like you're off the power play, like you missed the meeting. So I was like, oh, okay. So anyways, that I'm off the power play. All right, I think that's it. I'm still playing. We someone takes a penalty on the other team. We got a power play at the start of the period. I think I'm off of it. Well, it turns out he just said that to scare me. I was still off. So Laz yells at me, who's in charge of the power play as our assistant coach, get the fuck out there. And I ended up jumping the boards. I fall like straight on, just like, and like everyone's looking at me like I'm the last guy to like join like the face off. And like, anyways, my family was in the crowd. My cousins were there, and they were just absolutely loving it. So
that's a good one. Wow.
Well, Rask, actually, quick, I have a similar one to that with Laz too, because it was in preseason last year. G, you might not have been there. No, I don't think you were. Or yeah, it was preseason last year. And
you had the showcase in Kitchener?
No, it was in the Flint game. We did the Flint games, and we were in the the smaller rink in Flint or whatever, and we're there. We didn't do video before the game, so I'm like, oh, okay, like there's no video at this barn or something, I'm pretty sure. And so we're like, all right, whatever. So apparently they posted a bunch of like power play breakouts and stuff, and like I was on power play 1 that night because all the big dogs were gone, so like I'm feeling like the man, whatever. And Rask, I'm sitting on the bench, and I'm like, they're like, okay, power play 1, you go. And I'm like thinking, like, where am I on the breakout? What am I doing on the breakout? I'm like, I go to ask Laz, I go, where am I going here on the breakout? He goes, what the F? What do you mean, where are you going? It was right on the wall. You haven't know this? Do you want to go on the ice or not? And I'm like, no, like, yeah, I'll go. He goes, where are you going then? I'm like, I don't know then. I don't know. He's like, just go post up. And I was like, I was shitting my pants out there. It was like, oh, I botched.
Yeah. That's just Laz too, though.
Yeah, no, all good fun too after the game.
Love it. Yeah, he'll make fun of you afterwards, but yeah.
I got one more. Is there any player in the OHL that you hated playing against?
That's a pretty good question.
I know a guy who hates playing against you. That's why I asked.
I know there's a couple guys I hate playing against. I've heard a couple rumors from Baber's always whispering in my ear all the guys that have my number. So
Do you have anyone?
I mean, just from the top of my head, like I always, be honest with you, hated playing Lorky.
Okay.
Like Ryan O'Rourke, like I couldn't stand him just from playing him that often. It's crazy now how we hang out every single day. Like just playing on that same team now, it's just crazy how how small the hockey world is. But yeah, from the top of my head, I think I'd have to pick him.
Or your brother, because he runs your show.
Yeah, I think he beat me in one face-off there too, and like no one will ever let me forget it. Like,
Yeah, you'll never live that one.
Yeah, if like something happens or like we're working out or something, and like my brother tries to chirp me or something, like that's the first thing he brings up. Well, that one face-off. Yeah.
So he's got your number there, and actually, Rask, and we were talking about how G's a Northern boy, and G was like the king of the Northern boys in SAG, because it was weird. We had Dave Drinkle must have some gem of a scout up in the Northern Ontario, because there was a bunch of you guys, and you had your little Northern connection going. And I mean, when G goes and plays in Sudbury, you should see this, Rask. Like what do you think? Like, G, like 250 people there watching you, maybe more.
Yeah, no, I'm always pretty fortunate to have, a lot of great friends and family that come out and support. So yeah, it's always fun to be able to see them in the crowd when we come back to Sudbury.
That was wild. Like there's more noise for Saginaw and for G than there is for the Wolves on that night.
Yeah, that was nuts too, especially like last year. Like I think we ended up beating them like 10-8 or something like that. It was a wild game, and you just heard both crowds were like on both sides of like the ice were going nuts. Like it was a lot of fun that night for sure.
That's pretty sick. I mean, as far as fan questions go, that's kind of all we got here. Cards, do you have anything to add?
No, I mean, just a pleasure to have G on. Well spoken, attaboy G. And I know we just wanted to mention for coming on, our presenting sponsors are going to hook you up with an Axel watch. Great watches. We'll have you looking sharp going into your games and rocking it all summer. So if you send me your pics after, we'll get that shipped out to you and on the way. But other than that, for me, that's all. And I just want to say thanks.
I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
All right, and thanks to Damien Giroux for that. And I know we mentioned we're going to be sending him an Axel watch. For the listeners who want to buy an Axel watch, you can check it out at axelwatch.com. And for 15% off, use the code AX_Showbound, and you'll be looking just as good as G there. So check that out. And yeah, that was a great interview, Cards. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, no, G's a great guy. And I forgot to mention it, or I mean, didn't really come to mind during the interview, but it was cool. Like, G is such a great guy, and obviously you can tell by that interview just like the type of person he is. And when I was mentioning that they had him lined up for captain and stuff a while back, it was evident, because the day I got drafted to the OHL, within probably 10 minutes of when I was picked, G called me and reached out, and I thought that was pretty cool. I was just a 15-year-old kid and had no idea really about the OHL yet or anything like that, or how it worked. And G kind of called me and talked to me for like 5-10 minutes, and he was just like, "Hey man, like, you're gonna fit in great, like super happy to have you." So like, just a really welcoming guy, and just made me feel at home right away. So that was kind of my first taste of like getting to know G, and it was definitely started off on the right foot. And I know a ton of people can attest to that he's a great guy and works his ass off. So I won't be surprised to see him in the NHL within a few years here.
Yeah, no, I mean, from the people who I've heard from, and even I've seen him play a couple times now, just from traveling with Barry and stuff like that. But I mean, he's a hard worker. That's what I've heard. That's what I've seen. So one of the best qualities you can have in a player. But moving on, I mean, we're kind of towards the end. Is there anything really we want to talk about here? I know actually we did get some free golf gear this week, courtesy of Flight Golf, who we're going to be working with down the road. But I haven't dropped it off for you yet, Cards. But some of their stuff is legit. So we're going to be looking real nice on the golf course soon once Ontario gets their act together and opens up the courses.
Yeah, Dougie, if you're hearing this, we got a few nice outfits that we got to try out. So give us the courses again so we can rock our new flight gear, and everyone definitely go give them a look for sure. But I have some breaking news actually from our boy Danny Caddick, the man who talked about us on his CHL Memorial Cup E-Cup run. Super good friend of the podcast, and he gave confirmation on G's nickname. So I know we were talking about it a bit, and G said to ask Danny. So I have it here now. He says, the Saint Laurent Damiens Maurice Rocket Rooster Richard Giroux. So that's G's full nickname for anybody who's curious about that one. A lot of backstory to a lot of those things, but I mean, we can't get into it or we'll be here till tomorrow. So, but yeah,
you gotta get that printed on a t-shirt with his smile with no front tooth and the stitches going down his eye. Come on,
man, that's typical G. I know we have a lot of battles with G in practice just because he's given her, and yeah, that's why we were talking about. There's always fights in Saginaw just because all the boys are getting so gritty with each other.
Yeah, no, you guys go hard, and yeah, I mean that kind of wraps up. Anything you want to add here, Cards?
No, not really, man. I mean, I think we kind of covered the bases. There's not a ton of news for us really to talk about ever. And actually, you know what? One thing I do want to mention, how good McDavid is at hockey.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I haven't watched a lot because they play at like 10. I go to bed pretty early. Like I'm just like watching Prison Break or something at night. And
oh yeah, we got to talk about that after you say this.
This guy is so good, man. Like just the stuff he was doing. Like I watched the first period the other night, and he had 2 points in like back-to-back shifts, and like Draisaitl just passes it to him. He just wheels around everyone. I'm like, oh my God, like this guy's on another level. And my take is he gets 100 points. What do you think?
I think he will, man. I mean, he's scoring like 3 points a game right now on the tail end. And you know what? He might not admit it, but you know, in his head, he's like, I need to get 100 points. He's definitely pushing himself. So I think he's playing with that kind of attitude where he needs to get it. And I think Wayne Gretzky came out and said that he wouldn't be surprised at all if he did it. So pretty high praise from a guy like that. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I just scored another ridiculous goal the other night, but we got to talk about Prison Break. I know it's been a couple of weeks since we mentioned it. What season are you on now?
Season 4, maybe episode 15. So I'm pretty into it, man.
You're way into it.
It's sick, eh?
It's such a good series, man. Like I might have to rewatch it. I mean, now I have to spend all my time reading, so I probably can't, but I mean, I'm fired up. You're getting into it. I can't believe you're so late to the party though. It's a pretty old series.
No, man. Like I never even heard about it. And my brother's like, you got to watch this. I'm like, all right, I'll give it a try. And then sure enough, nasty show. So engaged in it now. And I guess we're giving out free ads now to Netflix and Prison Breaks.
Everyone's Showbound, promo code at netflix.com. No,
for 10% off your first month.
Imagine that. Anyway, yeah, I mean, Cards, you want to take it away with the usual outro here?
Yeah, I mean, just appreciate all the support, as we mentioned at the start of the podcast. Half a year doing these episodes for you guys now, and we're not looking to stop anytime soon. So as long as you guys keep giving us that support, we're going to keep doing what we do and give you guys a weekly boost to your Wednesday. And just hope you guys enjoy this one and have a great week. We'll see you next time.